So, talking about the four P's: product, price, place, and promotion. Today, talking still about product. Um, Talked about this earlier. Want it to be a solution. All right. We want to be able to make some money. Tangible, you can touch. Intangible, you can't. Service. We have durable or hard, non durable or soft. We also like consumables. That's a good word. We have our three types: convenience, shopping, specialty. Make sure we know those. Those are good three things to know. We talked about consumer goods versus producer goods. Producer, someone that's going to use it to make something. Consumer, the one using it. Also, we like consumable, consumer, those kind of sound the same. So we talked about utility of something's useful to us and it has a purpose. Which brings us to today. Today, going to talk about branding. So, a product brand is a name, term, symbol, or design, or a combination of those, it can be any of those, that identifies a product and distinguishes it from competitors' products. So, our brand is what makes us stand out. And again, we talked about this. We want to stand out because we want the consumer to be able to identify us above everyone else and to always be able to find our item, our product, or our service. The primary reasons that brands are used are for identification and differentiation. So, like we talked about, we want our product to stand out from everyone else, differentiation and identification. I want you to be able to find it with everyone else. Brands also lead consumers to develop certain expectations of products. We see this in our daily life. We buy a brand, we have a choice between products. We may buy a brand because I know that brand. I trust that brand. They've made good products before with other things that I've tried. So in this instance, I'm going to go with this brand, even though I don't know much about any of these products. We talk about branding. The name should be legally available for use. So you do have to search. You cannot have the same name that someone else has. The name should be distinctive. We want it to stand out. The name should be appropriate for packaging and advertising. You can't use a name that we can't put out there. All right, not going to sell a whole lot of units if that's the case. The name should create appealing images. Right, we don't want to remind people of bad thoughts and bad images. The name should be easy to read, pronounce, and remember. So we can't use a font or a text that's hard for people to read. Right? They won't be able to know what it is. We've also seen instances where brands had a name that was hard to pronounce, and it's hard for people to remember. If I can't remember what it is when I go to the store, I'm not going to buy your product. All right? So something they can remember. The name should be adaptable, so we ought to be able to move it around and use it on different items. The name should describe the product's benefits and uses. That one, you see some other things that don't always match up to that one. So I think the last one's a good one. I don't think that's a make or break. When customers get into the habit of buying certain brands, they develop brand loyalty. We like brand loyalty and allegiance to particular brands. So this is what we were talking about. This is what I want. I want you to buy my brand because you like my brand loyalty. There are three different stages of brand loyalty. Brand recognition, the stage of brand loyalty when consumers become aware of a brand and know a bit about it. I know what it is. I don't know a whole lot about it. I do recognize it. Brand preference occurs when consumers prefer to purchase a certain brand but would accept a substitute. I'm looking for this item. I'll buy this one, but I'd rather have that. Right? I'm looking for some cleaning stuff. I like Lysol, but I'll take that Clorox if they got it, or maybe I'll take the Kroger. Brand insistence happens when consumers insist on their brand and will not accept a substitute. In terms of marketing, this is what I want to create. I want your brand loyalty to the extent that I want brand insistence. I want you to go to the store and say, I need a cleaning supply. I am only buying the Lysol brand. I will not buy any other ones. I will not accept any substitutes. I only want that brand. I want that when I'm trying to sell you my product because I know I can count on you as a customer. And I also know that I can count on you in terms of buying my product and helping me with making some money. So we talk about brand awareness. Brand awareness, extent to which customers are able to recall or recognize a brand. So, example, if a consumer asked her friend to buy her some gum in a blue pack, the friend would be expected to know which gum to buy, even though neither friend can recall the precise brand name at the time. So we use this a lot. When we talk about, we talk about candy bars, things that we recognize. Go get me the candy in the orange pack, and it's two circles. You know what brand I'm talking about. Go get me a hamburger from that place with the arches. You know what brand I'm talking about. Go get me some pizza from. We all have our pizza places that we recognize. We all have brands that we recognize. We all have brands that we can explain to someone how to go get it or what it is. I might not be physically there, but I know my brand. I know what it looks like, and I can explain it to someone. So, one of the things when we talk about brand awareness, we talk about logo. So, this is old. All right. This came from by Brand Value 2016. So, been using this one for a while. But I do like it because it presents some logos that a lot of us know. We recognize Apple, we recognize Google. Coca Cola is recognized around the world. Microsoft, people know all of these companies. Branding. A manufacturer's brand is one that the manufacturer has assumed all the responsibility of branding, the national brand. So these are our big brands. Tide, that's a national brand. You can buy that everywhere. A private brand is a brand owned by an intermediary, also known as a store brand. Okay, so we can associate, if we go to Kroger, Kroger has their private brand. They have their store brand. All right, that's their store stuff. Family branding involves using the same brand for related products in a product line. All right, Mountain Dew individual branding involves using different brands for products owned by one company. So Mountain Dew has a product line. They have a lot of different types of Mountain Dew, and they all kind of have the same Mountain Dewy look and logo. Individual branding involves using different brands for products owned by one company. As we're going to talk about here in a minute, Mountain Dew is owned by a company that owns some other stuff. We're in Kentucky. We have Yum. Yum is a brand that owns different. Yum is one company that owns multiple brands. Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut. So this was top brands per state. I'm not sure when this came from, but interesting to see where some of these brands, more so where they started and what state they're coming out of. We're here in Kentucky, so we have the Colonel KFC. I'm not saying that any of these are the best or the number one, but I do like to see where some of these brands actually started. Again, here's some other ones. In Kentucky, I would say this one might be a little bit older. We have our Lexmark, still is a very popular employer. So this is what I was talking about. I found this graphic. I think this is neat. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 major labels or brands that control a whole bunch of smaller ones. Well, we don't want to say smaller, but own a whole bunch of the items and brands that we use on a day-to-day basis. So the one we were talking about, Yum, we have Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, KFC. I'm not sure what that one is. I'm not going to lie. And then A&W. So A&W, the restaurant, and then we also have A&W, the beverage over here. So owned by different people. That one's kind of neat, I think.